Hello everybody, welcome. This is the Saturday Q&A. My name is Frederick Jones and I am your host for the Q&A. Again, this is the Saturday Q&A. This is our regular program that we host on our YouTube channel via Google Hangouts. It's not the most high-tech thing in the world, but we do have some pretty damn excellent conversation that we open up directly to the fans, just like a Reddit AMA. You can utilize, if you're on Google, you can utilize your Hangout application and submit questions via the Q&A app. You can also access the chat function and put questions there. And for those of you who are members of our pilot manga submission group, you can ask questions via Facebook. And so, again, if you're not familiar with who we are Saturday AM. I'm the publisher, Frederick L. Jones, and I'm extremely honored to both do that and also to host this Q&A. We are less than a year old, and yet we have already created a lot of excitement amongst many people who love manga and webcomics and are just looking for something revolutionary and different. And that's what we're trying to provide folks with the sort of manga that we do. Saturday AM is a bi-weekly manga publication. It's like an anthology. Comes out every 2 weeks, and it features the talents of people as diverse as Nigeria's white manga, as well as the work of Mikhail Dingle, Raymond Brown, Vietnam's Wally Nguyen, and many, many more. So we're really proud of the collection of exclusive creators that we have with Saturday AM. The best part about Saturday AM, though, is that aside from all this incredible new original manga talent that you see, the content itself is available for just $5 subscription for the entire year. So we have been very fortunate that you all have embraced it, that we're producing some really amazing stuff, and that we're growing pretty rapidly. Tonight's Q&A is about that growth and some of the things that we're doing to facilitate it. The biggest thing that we'll be talking about this evening for many of you who are fans of us is our first crowdfunded project called Saturday Wars. And something that we've teased and talked about for quite a while, but tonight we'll finally kind of pull off the lid and talk about it and take your questions about it for most of the chat session tonight. We'll also be touching on our test flight, which is a unique project that we have that's been extremely successful. It features amateur manga creators from around the world who submit their comics in every month. And we judge them and choose properties that are really ready to go to put our marketing focus on top of so that they can launch those projects successfully. So we are really proud of that, and we are having our second unveiling of the winners and discussion of those who submitted this coming Monday. So do look out for that. If you're not familiar with us, you can find out most of this information on our website, www.saturday-am.com. And of course, you can also find information on our Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/SaturdayAM/. So with that being said, I see we've got a number of viewers in the room. As I said before, if you'd like to submit questions, feel free to do so. You may do so via the Q&A application on your Google Hangout. You may do so via the chat window as well that you may have via your Google Mail if you're accessing this via Google Talk. And then last but not least is that you can submit questions. Those of you who are members of either our Facebook fan page or our pilot manga submissions group, you can submit questions there as well, and we'll take them. So again, thank you all for joining us. Again, my name is Frederick Jones. I am the founder and publisher of Saturday AM. And again, I'm extremely proud and excited of everything that we're doing. You know, we're less than a year old, and we've got some really exciting plans heading up for the fourth quarter of this year. So we are extremely excited about the things that we want to talk about. The key thing we want to talk about, though, and the reason we're doing this Q&A tonight, or the reason this episode is about this particular subject, is that we are launching our first crowdfunded project, and that is significant. popped off the call there, so I do apologize for that. And hell, I was talking away and just missed it. As I've indicated before, for those of you who have supported us, you know, of course, we are a small company, and so therefore, you know, we are doing everything in our power to grow rapidly. You all have been amazingly supportive of our growth to date. You know, we are less than 8 months old, and yet we have a large number of subscribers to our digital manga magazine. We have several hundred subscribers to our YouTube channel, several hundred subscribers to our nearly 1,000, 700 some subscribers to our Facebook fan page, and then we have members, which you can only join via. You've got to apply for membership to a private group that we have called Pilot Manga. So the fact that you all have supported us through thick and thin has been quite amazing, and we're not even a year old yet. So again, as I was saying, this Q&A is all about the things that we have planned to really kind of give back. Here. So it looks like we're having a little bit of difficulty here. Can anyone hear me here? Is anyone hearing me at all? Kinshaw Mashad is saying that he cannot hear, saying there's some difficulty with the sound. So certainly want to double check that. Is anyone else experiencing those problems? So I don't know if you all can hear, if there's any, if you guys are having any problems hearing me. It does appear as if there may be a bit of a delay on the audio, so let me check and see what's going on there. Okay. All right. So it sounds like people can hear me on our on our Pilot Manga group. So so glad to see that. And so I'll get back to it. As I said before, you guys have really been amazing, and so I want to thank you all for supporting us. I apologize again for the technical difficulties. We are such a small company. We have plans to grow. You all are helping us grow, and so we're certainly getting there. But definitely want to apologize for the minor issues that we do face from time and again. So as I was saying before, basically, you know, the key thing to keep in mind with this particular crowdfunding project that we have called Saturday Wars, one of the big things about Saturday Wars is that first and foremost is the fact that, you know, we've not, you know, had to do crowdfunding in all this time. You know, we've been able to work with you guys, to support our digital comics, and so when you think about the fact that we're not sold on Comixology, which is the largest digital comic book store in the world, and when you think about the fact that we're not there, and we're also not on Amazon, which is the largest ebook store in the world, when you think about that, it's pretty amazing that we have got any customers at all. And so it's a real testament to you guys and to our artists and creators and the work that we're doing. So it's something that, you know, when we think about the fact that we're growing the way we are, and that we've got such exclusive creators like White Manga and Wally Wynn and Raymond Brown and Mikhail Dingle and Vertical Fish and so on, that's just really amazing feeling to be in that particular position. Not to mention what we're doing with Afternoon WebX, which is really starting to take off really well. David Yoon from Spoon and Andrew Sterling with Storybook, Mario Villarreal with Wanted Dead or Dead. I mean, these are some major properties across the board, so we're really proud of that. Andrea Voros with Saturday AM for Saigami, so we're really proud. I want to thank you guys for it. But Saturday Wars is unique because, you know, we just don't know of anyone who's ever tried to crowdfund an anthology book that would actually tell a singular story that features crossovers of webcomic characters. So the fact that, you know, Apple Black, as you all know, started as a webcomic, and the fact that Spoon is a prominent webcomic series, and that these characters are going to meet in one story. That's pretty phenomenal. And if you are from the West, if you are a fan of Western comic books like Marvel and DC, then this is something that happens relatively regularly. Both crossovers between Spider-Man and Captain America, or X-Men and Avengers, and crossovers even within people's lifetimes of things like Batman and the Justice League versus Captain America and the Avengers. So we're really proud of this opportunity. We think it's going to be really exciting, and our goal and objective now is just to get this Kickstarter set up and really get the support you guys can provide, as well as other people, so we can make our goal and make this project a big reality. So we'll be talking about that tonight. We'll be talking about as well some of the other projects that we have going on. I know some of you guys requested some information about Saturday Plus, so we'll certainly be touching on a few things from there. So I guess what I would say is that there's several people in the room. Most of the questions, though, appear to be about when we had that technical issue a few minutes ago, so that has now been resolved. So if you have questions about what we're doing with our crowdfunding with Saturday Wars, please ask. Otherwise, I'll continue on and explain what we have planned. Likewise, if you have any questions about Saturday AM, Afternoon WebX, our ebook line, which is called Well Read, or our test flight project, which we'll be having the second winners announcement this coming Monday. So again, with all those questions, we are open for business. You can ask those questions on Facebook. You can ask those questions on Facebook, on the Pilot Manga submissions group within Facebook, or our fan page within Facebook. Of course, you can ask a question if you have Google Hangouts on the Q&A app or the chat window. So let's. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and let you guys submit those questions in, and then we will go from there. Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead then and talk a bit about Saturday Wars, and as the questions start coming in. Saturday Wars is going to be a 200-page graphic novel. It will feature the work of all the Saturday AM and Afternoon WebX creators. And so they will basically tell stories that are connected to one another, but featuring their characters. And there will be some crossover characters that interact with each other. So there will be plenty of that sort of crossover that you see in just about any major comic book. So you can expect to see artwork from White Manga and Andrea Voros and Mikhail Dingle, Raymond Brown, Wally Wynn, David Yoon, Richard Umbrow, who does Shapeshifters, and so on. We also have some really exciting surprises of creators and characters of webcomics that you all are probably fans of, but are not connected to Saturday AM. So we're going to see a lot of cool stuff, and so we're really excited about it. The basic story, of course, is that without giving too much of it away, is that there is a very evil organization, powerful group of aliens, and I mean like dark side Thanos level power, who are conquering universes. And the lead bad guy's name is Chilean Vane, and his alien race army is called the Sin Rostro. And so you will be learning more about them in the coming weeks. We have a lot of plans to really get you guys up and running with information about Saturday Wars and who the main characters are and so forth. But suffice it to say, we wanted to create a truly epic bad guy, and we think we've done it. And he's going to be brutal and vicious, and it's going to be really awesome to see him kind of unleash himself upon the worlds that we publish with Saturday AM and Afternoon WebX. So we just couldn't be more excited about the story. And again, seeing your favorite artists, get to interact with other people's works is going to also be very cool. And we have some really great rewards lined up that people will be able to participate in for the Kickstarter. So we have some really cool rewards that people will be able to get for the Kickstarter that I think will excite a lot of you guys to want to help fund the project. I see a question here from Ika Knightley, who is asking, when can we start crowdfunding Saturday Wars? Ika, we will be debuting the Kickstarter, we believe, early to mid week upcoming. So definitely, it's definitely going to be this coming week. And this thing has jumped many times. That's one of the reasons I want to do this Q&A. One of the challenges that we had, of course, was trying to come up with the right model financially to support the things that we wanted to do and the things that we had to do. So again, we've never asked you guys to put money in to help us create comics, because we were, a lot of the creators that we had were creating comics like Apple Black and Bully Eater and stuff like that on other websites before they came exclusive to Saturday AM. So, we've never asked you guys to pay money for us to actually do our jobs. That said, we've asked you to support the work that we're doing by subscribing, and we think that's only fair. So our content can only be gotten if you buy it, which is how it is in most cases in terms of entertainment. So we've always been very proud of our overall business model, even though if other people don't understand it. And trust me, there are plenty of people who don't understand how we make money, but you all have supported us, and I think we have the best deal in comics. So that's really all that matters. But in the case of this, we're in the same boat. We're going to create the content without you guys throwing money into it. So the key thing that we needed to do was things like printing the books, producing some of the rewards that we had planned, doing some marketing, things like that. The things that we've never really asked you guys to help because we never had to worry about those things. Now we do want to raise that money via Kickstarter. So it took us a while to figure out the logistics and the financials of that. And then likewise, we had some personnel issues we had to resolve in terms of who was going to do what. And once we got all that squared away, we're now finally able to debut this stuff. And I'm actually submitting a final video to White Manga this evening so that he can finish the edit on our video, our new video that we're doing, a reversion of the video that we did. So that we can actually debut it this week. So it'll be sometime this week on Kickstarter. What I ask all of you guys, all the loyal fans that we have of Saturday, and what I ask everybody to do is to please just share the information. Share the information to all of your friends. Tell them how much, if you love Saturday AM, tell them how much they'll love Saturday AM if they give it a try. If you think that you have people that might really be interested in it at your local comic book store, or in your local anime manga club, let us know. We might even work out some free issue codes so that you can say, hey, look, try out an issue, and you'll see how cool this stuff is. And then if you really like it, support it. We have some really great rewards that we think all of you guys will really like. Brand new exclusive artwork for the Kickstarter. Some really unique products as well that you can't find anywhere else. So we think this is really the right project. We're trying to raise. Frankly, I just saw a Kickstarter the other day that was trying to raise $20,000 and they raised $109,000. We would love that, but we're not asking for anything close to that. So, we think we'll be fine with you guys who've supported us. But again, at this point, at this stage of things, tell everybody. That's all we ask is tell everybody you think would be remotely interested in what we're doing, and send them the link to the Kickstarter so that we can have a real shot at making this project happen. So that's the question there for Ika. There's some questions, it sounds like, on Facebook. So let me check here. So Kamindra Gamble asks, is Saturday Wars coming in hard copy? And the answer is yes. Saturday Wars will be, the entire reason we're doing this Kickstarter is because we're printing a graphic novel. Our intention is to have, for the first time, to have a collection, a really wide collection of some of the hottest webcomic characters online sitting in your local bookstore. So if you've got a Barnes & Nobles in your house, we want to have the graphic novel for Saturday Wars sitting there alongside of Naruto and Batman and Spider-Man and Avengers and stuff like that. If you have a local comic store, we want to make sure that our book is sitting there as well. So we've never had this sort of opportunity before, and you all have asked us, okay, when are you guys going to do a physical print book and stuff like that? And, I don't like to do the same thing everybody else does. That's just the nature of my being. I like to try to do things that are original, otherwise there's no point in doing it, And so, I really felt that if we were going to do a print book, let's do something that's really cool. And that's how Saturday Wars came about. So this will be a print book. It will be in a paperback, but we may have a reward tier that is for a hardcover if we get a certain amount of money and things like that. So look at the rewards when we announce them. We're not going to talk about the rewards tonight in any detail, but we have a lot of ideas for what we can give you that would be really cool if we hit certain targets. And so then Commemorate Gamble also asks, will you buy the book from Saturday AM and will it be sent to our house? Well, Commemorate, the way that crowdfunding works, particularly with things like Kickstarter, is you just you would support, you would choose a reward tier on Kickstarter. Maybe it's $25, maybe it's $150. You would choose a reward tier and you would select that and say, yeah, I want this because I'm going to get all this other stuff with it, and then you're guaranteed to get the book sent to you once it's produced. And the book, by the way, like I said, we're already working on it, but the expectation for the book and for all the extra stuff is that we want to have this book to people in early March of 2015. So this is a ways out, but every Kickstarter is a ways out. No Kickstarter is like fund me today and you'll have it next week. It's it takes time to finish everything up. So let's see here. So I think we answered some of the questions there. Let's see what else we got here. So I saw, there's a question earlier from Antonio Dela Cruz about Saturday Plus, and so Saturday Plus is something we've been wanting to do for a very long time. As you all know, right now we have Saturday AM, which is our digital manga magazine. We have, that for that project, for people who don't know, a minimum of 75 pages. A maximum of, not a maximum, but it can go over 100 pages. Saturday AM is our flagship. When you go to check our stuff out, you go to saturday-am.com. So we've wanted to do a second publication that has other types of content in it for a very long time. We've actually wanted to do many different magazines. But now that we know Saturday AM is a success, and we know that Saturday AM has real growing potential, we think Saturday AM could be the next Weekly Shonen Jump, like literally the next the global version of Weekly Shonen Jump, and really take it to Shonen Jump. Then we think we could do that, and so we wanted to, the same way that Shueisha, or the same way that Marvel, frankly, who has they have 100 different Avengers titles every given month. Shueisha has Weekly Shonen Jump, they have Weekly Young Jump, they have Jump Square, they have all these different projects, and so with all that being said, Saturday Plus represents our opportunity to do something like that. And so we have a unique idea for Saturday Plus. It's going to be really cool how we pull it off. It's going to be similar to Saturday AM. It's going to be extremely different. And I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised with how unique it is, and the sort of content that's in it. So that's pretty much all I can say right now. I know you guys have a lot of questions about it. How big is it going to be? What's the price point? What are the manga that's going to be featured in it? I can't answer any of those questions right now. I will say this though: with Saturday AM, the way that it works, of course, for you guys who follow us, you know that we basically exist every 5 issues. We come out on time, like we're supposed to. We don't miss an issue. We don't skip a week. We come out every 2 weeks, and after every 5 issues, which we consider a season, after every 5 issues, we take a break. That break actually works for you as a consumer, and it works for us as creators. It gives us a chance to rest our brains a bit, spend some time with family, and kind of let our hair down, as they say. And conversely for you, it helps say, you know what, there's lots of other things you have in your life. You have video games and smartphones and social networks and playing, just kicking it and doing everything that you guys do, work, all that other stuff, loved ones. And so, we know we can't compete against all that stuff. I think companies constantly make the mistake of thinking they can compete with that stuff, and they can't. And that's why you see so many big companies making so many dumb decisions and lose money. We think differently, and so our objective is to give you a break as well, so that you can, really have a time to miss Saturday AM. And so we think it's worked out really well on that front. But to that end, Saturday Plus, will operate differently. They will operate slightly differently. So let's see here. We've got a question from. We got a couple of questions here. We've got a question from Crenshaw Mashad. Let's see here. Let's see. He's saying, will this be the only project you plan to use crowdfunding for, or will you use crowdfunding for other projects such as printing volumes and creating action figures? That is an excellent question, Crenshaw. That is a really excellent question. Let's see here. Sorry for this. I'm just trying to compose some of these questions that we have over on Facebook as well, so that I can go right to those. Okay, so Kinshaw, that's an excellent question, and I'm really glad you asked it. Again, that's one of the reasons that we're doing this, is to, I try to run MyFutprint, which is the actual company, in a way that is very web smartphone generation conducive, meaning that the way companies today work is very different from when I grew up, and people expect transparency. They expect people to be able to talk openly. They expect to have a line in directly to the CEO or president to be able to ask questions. And it doesn't mean you're always going to get an answer that you want, but it does mean that you have the ability to ask questions. So we try to always keep things very open and very honest. So the short answer is that I don't know. I've been reluctant to do crowdfunding for a couple of reasons. First and foremost is that, largely many of the creators that we have never worked in corporate America. I've got that background, but many of them do not. And so there is a scenario where, or concern, where, when you try to put so much stuff on people's plates, they break. And we've seen it in a couple of cases of Saturday AM. We know that, we ask for a lot, and we expect our people to carry themselves in a professional manner. That doesn't just mean that you act politely to people. It means that you have a real focus on what we're trying to accomplish, and that you understand what we're trying to accomplish. And again, we've had a few cases where that doesn't necessarily work. Where people are like, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for, and so to that end, crowdfunding puts an extra layer of pressure on that sort of amateur relationship where someone really doesn't exactly understand what all we expect to be at stake for. You've heard, many of you guys, if you've watched any of these Q&As I've done, I've talked a lot when we interview people about the difficulty with webcomics and how webcomics have the stigma that they have precisely because many of the webcomic creators, frankly, are young, or they're stunted in some way, like they've never necessarily worked in giant organizations, and so they're not really used to kind of the demands that come with producing product. It's like when you've got a comic book, if you work for Marvel or DC, or if you make a widget for Ford Motor Company, or if you work for Colgate-Palmolive, actually literally making some of the cleaning materials that your mom or dad may have in the house. When you actually do that, then you understand everything from time commitments to not having to ask 95 questions when you're trying to get things done, to having a sense of confidence, but also having a sense of humility, to constantly taking the opportunities to learn to get better. And webcomics really, for the most part, I think have a stigma that none of those things apply because most of the creators are young, or like I said, they're somewhat stunted in terms of their experience, and so therefore, you'll see a webcomic that looks amazing, and then 2 weeks later, something happens. You don't know what happened, but something happens. Now they're no longer producing the webcomic on a regular basis, and that is some of the challenge that exists with digital comics. So crowdfunding, I think, adds a level of pressure because basically, not only do you have to actually want to produce that material, you have to have a plan for producing that material, but you then have to actually plan exactly how you're going to get your money in, exactly what you promise people they're going to get in terms of rewards and things like that. And then you have to, actually, support actually getting the projects funded. So you have to do a lot of marketing. If you're not comfortable asking people to help you raise money, then it becomes a tough objective. That's why a lot, as popular as Kickstarter is, there's certainly less people who create webcomics on sites like Tapastic and Inkblazers actually use Kickstarter. And the reason is simple, because they know enough to know this is going to be a lot of work where I'm not comfortable asking people for money. I'm not comfortable tweeting every day trying to get people to check out my stuff. And so that pressure is difficult. And so, one of my jobs is try to alleviate that pressure. But again, we're a small company. I can't, work with every single creator and their idiosyncrasies. So I say all of that to say that when you talk about things like action figures or anime, certainly in the world that we live in today, Kickstarter, crowdfunding in and of itself is a huge opportunity for people to forego the entire corporate structure. If you've got a really cool concept and idea and you want to make it an anime, we live in a world today to where you actually can make it an anime. You don't have to go through Warner Brothers or Funimation or Madhouse Animation Studio in Japan. You could literally kickstart a project, get the necessary funds, and then find an animation unit, whether it's in Vietnam or Africa or Brazil or just you in your garage. You could actually fund your own animation. But it didn't used to be that way, obviously, and so it was a lot more difficult. It took a lot more tenacity from people. So I'm not sure that we want to go down that path yet. I believe the strategy that we'll take as we move forward, we've already been approached by companies to do licensing. So you'll see announcements from us about things like toys and anime and things like that. But I don't know. I just don't know yet. I mean, if this Kickstarter does exceptionally well, then you never know. There are certainly things that we have planned for 2015 that if we had a tremendous success on the Kickstarter, it could actually afford us an opportunity to really bring you guys some stuff that would just knock your socks off. And so I'm constantly thinking about those things, and funding is definitely something that's on our agenda, but whether or not it's crowdfunding is another story. But, support the Kickstarter and you never know. As far as printing volumes, I know many of you guys have asked the question about will we do single volume products, and we are going to do that. We'll be announcing next couple of weeks with artwork the first volumes for Metallica Lux Nova from Mikhail Dingle and Apple Black by White Manga. Those will be the first two trade paperback manga volumes that we do, and they'll have some really cool goodies with them. But we will be announcing those soon. So we do have plans for single volumes. Let's see here. There's some other questions here that came up on the Facebook. So give me a moment and let's see what we got here on Facebook. All right, and so let's see here. Looks like a couple of questions are similar, but let's see here. And again, everyone, you've got the chat window inside of the Google Hangouts app, as well as you have some other stuff there that you can utilize. Let's see. So, as I said before, with Saturday Plus, we will be announcing Saturday Plus and some of the details of Saturday Plus soon. We'll be giving all the information about it, but we'll be announcing some stuff soon with Saturday Plus. As far as, like I said, the individual mangas go, White Manga's Apple Black and Mikhail Dingle's Metallica Lux Nova will be what we produce first as single volumes. They'll collect, not per se first story arcs, but they will collect the first several chapters of those series. So let's see here. So any other questions that exist? Anything regarding Test Flight or Saturday AM itself? Afternoon WebEx? Well, I'm not seeing any other questions yet that's there, and I'm not sure what else I can ring off the top of my head at this point. So, definitely feel free to ask some questions. You can do so on our Facebook fan page are on our Facebook pilot manga submission group. Likewise, you can do so in the Q&A app, which is on the Google Hangouts, and you can also do so via the chat window on your Gmail if you're plugged into this particular chat. So we have actually several questions here that came in at once. Let's see here. Augustine Gates asks, is there a possibility that one of Saturday M's manga could be animated? Yes, Augustine, of course. I mean, that's one of our goals. So yes, absolutely. I don't want to say which one, but we have certainly talked about the opportunity, and I've talked to a few people out of Hollywood. So nothing would make me happier than to announce that we have an animated project ready to go for one of our series. But we certainly will be working to make that happen. Let's see here. Colby D has a question here. Colby D. It sounds like Cliffy B. Colby D has a question here. He's asking, I was wondering about your opinion on a sports manga in Saturday AM, if it was at a high quality caliber. I'm curious if Saturday AM would even view something along the lines, or if the general fan base and demographic would not enjoy it very much. Colby, first of all, that's an excellent question, and if you follow me, again, if you've watched any of our previous Saturday Q&As, if you have listened to me on any of the interviews that I've done, or any of the posts that I've made on Facebook, our Facebook fan page, the short answer is absolutely. I would literally, not literally, I would not kill anyone for a sports manga, but I'd love to see a sports manga. One of the things to keep in mind, I hope everyone keeps in mind, is that the reason that I said a few minutes ago that I think we can take Shonen Jump, and I know that's a big statement, and I don't mind making big statements, and the reason I feel is because I think you can look at where Shonen Jump is right now. You can say to yourself, it's the same thing over and over again. It's the same thing, and if you're an American, if you are a Nigerian, someone, a Great Britain, a Canadian, a Brazilian, a Venezuelan, a Chilean, a Korean, even, Shonen Jump does not really speak to you. It doesn't represent you in any particular way. It's like, and we're too, I'm 40 years old, so we're way past the point of this kind of silly idea about how, oh no, the white male character represents all of you. That's I think we all know that's bullshit. And so, just like the black male character does not represent everybody. There is a reality of the human spirit that connects us all, and so everybody understands this. That's why Batman, I think, is so popular, because everyone gets the idea of someone who, his parents has been murdered. You don't have to be a rich white male to understand that. You can be black, you can be short, you can be poor, you can be gay, you can be Latino, you can be from any country, and that idea is powerful because it's a human emotion. We all connect to that. But where it does lose itself is when you see the same manga tropes over and over again from Shonen Jump and from Kodansha and Futabusha and some of the other group, Akita Shoten, and some of the other publishers out there who do the same thing over and over again. And it's basically a Japanese named person who looks like a white guy and who's somehow scared of girls, and but if he does interact with girls, it's either in a pervy way or a really weird kind of like scared way. Like, that's not real. I don't care if you're from Uruguay, if you're from Japan, if you're from Korea, if you're from Africa, if you're from Australia. That's just not real behavior. And I think Shueisha, Viz, they've all kind of locked themselves into this box where they're now kind of trapped, because the world has gotten browner, it's gotten more diverse, it's gotten more educated, and while the art style is impressive, people just can't get with that idea anymore that this sort of stereotype is the only type of stories you can tell. So we take diversity very seriously. Obviously, I think, as you guys all know, we take it extremely seriously. And diversity means not just that we want to have black female creators, we want to have Latina female creators, we want to have white male creators from Europe and from Latin America, from Asia. We want to have people from all over the world creating comics and bringing unique voices to it. Diversity also means, what type of story are you telling? You know, like I see too many Dragon Ball Z ripoffs. I see too many Naruto ripoffs. And so if you look at our test flight, you see that we have been extremely proud and supportive of titles that are trying to do something different. So if you are a lady and you're trying to tell a story about a romance, as long as it's compelling and exciting and it's got, you know, quality artwork, then we're interested. If you're trying to tell a manga about, I told the story a while back. There was a great manga that I saw, webcomic I saw. I think it was called Short Order Mobile Action or something like that, and it was about a food truck. And here in North Carolina, just like in New York and Chicago and L.A. and many countries around, and many cities around the world, food trucks are really cool. They're like a really neat fad that's starting to break out, and people really get into them. And so I thought, what a great idea for manga. And so I'd love to read something like that. So yeah, sports manga is high on my list. I'm a big soccer fan, football fan. I would love to see a good sports manga. The bottom line is that we don't get pitched that. We get pitched like a gazillion Bleach ripoffs. We don't get pitched a I Shield 21 ripoff or a Prince of Tennis ripoff. So I would like to see that, definitely, yes. So to answer your question, Coldy, create us a sports manga, join the pilot manga program, and make a pitch. Let's see here. Let's go back to Facebook. We have another question. So Antonio Dela Cruz asked, do we have any plans for growing our YouTube channel? And the answer is yes, Antonio. We do have plans to grow our YouTube channel. Like everything else, it's going to take some time to do so. If you guys follow our YouTube channel, we have a very strong fan base from you guys. You guys have supported us very well, and we also have been very fortunate because we have people who are part of Saturday AM who themselves have very good YouTube channels. So White Manga has a huge YouTube channel. Andrea Voros has a really big following. Even one of our test flight winners, Philippa Borman, who won last month's test flight with a fantastic manga that will be coming out with us called Animale, even she has a really good YouTube channel. So when you combine that sort of exclusive talent that we have and the fact that they already are familiar with YouTube and the fact that we then can cull from them to produce even better content for our YouTube channel, then we have expectations for our YouTube channel to really take off. But we are looking to find people who are really good with who are just really good with creating video content, because we do have some ideas for things we'd like to do to grow the channel, and we'd like to work with people who are ambitious and could bring a unique flair to our videos. That would be something really quite big, actually. So we are looking at that, and that's the short answer I can give you right now. Is that we have some plans to try to do that, but we're trying to find someone who can really anchor that for us before we move forward. So thank you for that question, Antonio. And I'll take this other question, and I'll take a quick station break just to kind of remind people what this is and who we are before we open it up to final questions. So this last question before the break is along the lines, I think, of what you just asked, Antonio. Is from Kinshaw Mashad. And Kinshaw asks, how is the podcast coming along? So, for those of you who do not know, we have right now one show that we do technically, and that is this show. It's a Saturday Q&A. It works very much like a Reddit AMA, and it does very well for us. It gets great views, and we also get a lot of, depending on some of the topics, we get some huge viewers turning out live for the broadcast, and it looks just like this. We don't have any extra special things. It's not like any little graphics that pop up on the screen. There's no animated icons, and you're not going to see me talking. So you're just going to see this foot. So with all that being said, we do very well with our YouTube channel, and Saturday Q&A is a really great part of that. Saturday Q&A basically is, like I said, it's a Reddit-style AMA. We usually have it Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we basically take a very serious dissection of individual webcomic and digital artists creators. So if you go to our YouTube channel, and you can Google Saturday AM and YouTube channel, and find our YouTube channel, you'll see a lot of manga art, so you're at the right place. And when you do that, look for the Q&A. There's a whole section there, playlist for Q&As. Brandon Easton was one of our last big Q&As, and he's a writer of animation. I'm sorry. He also writes comic books. Has written for some really big artists like LaShawn Thomas. He's also worked on some really big TV shows like Thundercats in 2011, and he also directed a documentary that came out recently called Brave New Souls, about black science fiction and fantasy writers. But Brandon was a huge get for us, and he was his Q&A was very successful. So if you're looking for really in-depth interviews, this is a great show that we have. The podcast is meant to be fun, and so we're still working out the ideas of the podcast. David Yoon, who's the creator of Spoon, who's very wacky and fun, David Yoon and I will be hosting it, and we hope to have it really grow and be something quite fun. It'll come out every 2 weeks, and it won't be long. It'll be probably about like 30 minutes a pop, or maybe 45 minutes. And we'll just kind of touch on pop culture events. We'll have guests. We'll have some really wacky segments. And so, I'm a perfectionist. I like to have things done in a way that feels right to me. And so, he and I were set to launch about a month ago. We actually had the episode recorded and edited, but I just didn't feel comfortable with it. And so we're just retooling it and trying to get it ready so that when we do it, you guys can actually listen to it while you're in the gym or in your car or on your train, and actually get something that'll make you laugh. And at the same time, touch on some things that are happening in pop culture that you may or may not have known. So we want to make it really compelling, and we think we have a good shot at that. But we just want to make sure we do it right, just like with the Kickstarter. So that's it. Thank you, Kinshaw. So I see we've got some more questions. Again, you can ask questions in the chat window. You can ask questions on the on the Q&A app, which is on your Google Hangouts if you're watching this right now. Also, if you are a member of our Facebook fan page or our Pilot Manga group, which is a private group on Facebook for amateur manga creators, you can ask questions in any of those locations. I want to do just a quick station break, which is basically where we just make sure you all know, for those of you who just tuned in, who we are, what we're about. Again, my name is Frederick Jones. I'm the host and subject of tonight's Q&A. I'm the founder of MyFutprint, which is the actual entity that controls and creates most of these lines that we have. And Saturday AM is our flagship publishing line. It is a digital manga magazine. It comes out every 2 weeks. It features some of the best creators online exclusively, meaning you cannot find their content, the new versions of their content, anywhere else except for Saturday AM in the comic like it's a high-res PDF. It's DRM free. So while we do things to make sure you can't knock it off, you certainly aren't forced to do certain things with it just to read it. And we're really proud of it. It's minimum 75 pages, maximum over 100 pages. It's got some of the best content in the world is on it, literally. And what makes it a huge success for us is that it's the best deal in comics. You cannot find a comic book with that much content, that much quality artwork from people that you've never heard of before, for the most part. You cannot find that for as low as you find it with us. Individual issues are $1.99, and to put that in perspective, The Walking Dead, which is a phenomenon, of course, that comic book, which is great, is about 30 to 40 some pages, maybe, black and white, no color artwork, and it is $2.99, just like it is in print in comic book stores. Now that's very expensive, and clearly Robert Kirkman has decided, you know what? I'm Robert Kirkman. My show is a huge show on TV, one of the most watched shows on TV. Walking Dead's one of the most popular video game franchises, and I created this whole damn thing. So you know what? I'm going to charge extra for the comic book because I can. And he can, and he does, and he succeeds at it. But I still think we knock him on his ass when it comes to the quality that we offer and the amount of money you spend. So $1.99 per issue for that much content. But the best part is that you get 20 issues going forward for just $5. So if you subscribe, you don't miss an issue. You start with the latest issue. You just pay $5. You get 20 issues. So that is Saturday AM. If you want to learn more, go to www.saturday-am.com. Many of the comics that are there, they're in the magazine. We have on the site for free. First couple of chapters. Check it out. We will be putting the first portion of Mythalica Lux Nova on the site coming soon as well. So plenty of opportunity for you to learn about the series that you might want to support, and then subscribe and make sure you support them. We also have T-shirts and prints that you can support, making sure that you're helping to bring opportunity to the creators who are creating these amazing content. When you buy a T-shirt for Mythalica Lux Nova or Apple Black, not only are you letting people know about these properties that, frankly, the vast majority of people do not know who we are, not only are you letting them know about us, but you're also supporting directly people like White Manga, Mikhail Dingle, Raymond Brown, Wally Wynn, Andrea Voros, and so on. Also, if you go to our website, we do have tons of free content because we have a free webcomic line called Afternoon WebX. Unlike any other webcomic line out there, and unlike any other webcomic site out there, we keep it really simple. We have 4 distinct series, but one of the creators is on hiatus right now. Basically, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day at 1 p.m. the content updates, so you can't miss it. You're never confused as to what came out just now. And the best part is that most of these series, they're all exclusive to us, but most of these series have over 10 chapters, meaning that you're looking at huge amounts of comic reading material that you can start right now for free. And we have incredible series like Spoon, Storybook, Shapeshifters, which is becoming really big, Wanted Dead or Dead, which is also becoming really big, and then the aforementioned Rough House, which will be coming back to us very soon. So that is a bit about Saturday AM, who we are, what we're about. We have really big plans, and we're not even a year old, but our growth has been pretty extraordinary, both in terms of making revenue off of it as well as actually creating excitement amongst our fan base. So just some more quick notes. Next week, the Saturday Q&A will consist of the winner of our test flight, our very first test flight, which was our amateur competition of upcoming manga webcomic creators. It will feature Philippa Borman and Justin Anicione, who are the winners and runner-up respectively. Philippa's the winner, Justin's the runner-up of our first ever test flight, and you will be able to talk to them live next Saturday. And they'll be making some announcements as well about when you can expect to see their series, which will be debuting soon. I can tell you now that Animale will debut in the 16th issue of Saturday AM, which comes out on September 20th, and that will also debut with our next exclusive manga series that will be starting up at Saturday AM permanently, which is Massively Multiplayer World of Ghosts. So if you love Harry Potter, you love Naruto, and you love Tron, put all three together, and you'll have Massively Multiplayer World of Ghosts. So that's everything happening. We've got some other announcements that we'll talk about right at the end of the of this Q&A. But let's turn it back to some questions. Again, if you have questions, put them in the chat window, or put them in the Q&A box, or put them, which is in the Google application for Hangout, or you can put them in the Facebook group, which we have two. Our Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/Saturday AM, or our Pilot Manga Submissions group, which is a private group you have to join to become a member of. So let's get back to these last couple of questions, and then we'll have final notes about what you can expect from Saturday AM in the near future. Let's see here. Eli Camacho asks, he has a question about the pilot manga. He wants to know what happens if there are multiple manga concepts that are of good quality and are original. Will there still only be one winner? Because some people have worked on these concepts for years. So Eli, that's a great question. Let me answer that in two ways. Let me give two answers on that. The first answer is that, I mean, unfortunately, yes, we're going to always have a winner, one winner, and we're going to always have a runner-up. And the reasons for that are really simple. It's because there usually is one winner. There usually is one person who's got a concept that is literally ready to go right then and there. Artwork-wise, story-wise, everything about it is a winner, and that's why it goes directly into Saturday AM for a run-out. That's the reason. And then conversely, there are creators who are really strong, who are really good, who've got a really great concept, but they clearly were not as polished as the first person, whether it's about certain aspects of their art abilities, or it was certain aspects of their story, or it was just like an overall feeling that they just did not have all the things necessary for this to be a hit, the way that we expect things to be hits with Saturday AM. So I think that's going to always be the case. And so the second part of what I'm going to say is that, and I think one of the things that the reason we started the Pilot Manga group was specifically to address what you just asked, because the way you just asked the question was at the very end you said, because some people have worked on these concepts for years, to which case, the business exec in me who loves creators wants to say to you, like, what in the hell has that got to do with anything? Like, what does that have to do with anything? It doesn't matter if you've worked on something for years. I mean, the world is not set up because you've worked on something for years, you get your turn. Like, that's not how the world works. This is about people who are literally at a level of talent and are ready to go right then and there, and people who are not. And the aspect of that we tell everybody all the time in Pilot Manga is that our expectation, first and foremost, is that you get something out of Pilot Manga. And when you get something out of Pilot Manga, that does not mean you get a win out of Pilot Manga. What that means is that you get experience, you get criticism, you get friendships, you get a sense of purpose, you get tips, you get all sorts of things that are provided on a daily basis in Pilot Manga, which is why I think we have the best group for amateur manga creators online. If there's another one that's doing what we're doing, I haven't seen it yet. We created it specifically to try to empower webcomic creators by giving them a sense of actual stress and pressure and guidance so that you guys have to rise to the occasion. And again, if you look at that first test flight, and again, that video of the winners was a live Q&A. We'll be doing the next live Q&A for the next set of winners on this coming Monday, which is the what is it, the 8th, so September 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're a member of our Facebook fan page, or if you go to our website, we'll have event pages there to take you directly to the event. And yeah, I mean, guys, if you look at that video, I think we were on that call for 2 hours or so. We went through every entry that we had, and it was really tough to determine the final winner. But at the end of the day, the final winner was almost pretty clear cut, because we went through every single entry. And I have no doubt this will be the same way, that we'll go through every single entry, we'll talk about them, or at least we'll go through a good chunk of the entries. And while it will be tough, and it certainly looks tougher because people kind of know what to expect now, the reality is that there's going to be someone who just stands out. Their artwork is the best. Their concept is really mature. And I don't mean mature like serious. It's mean mature as in it's well thought out, like all that's really is there. And that's the key. So if someone comes out of the test flight and they didn't win, they have two options. They can take the criticism that we put, and we give really robust criticism. They can take that criticism, rethink the concept, or put their focus on another concept, but using the criticism to kind of enhance their ability to tell a story. Or they can say, you know what, like you just said, I put a lot of time into this. I think it's good. My friends think it's good. So I'm going to take this to any of the other websites that are out there, and I'm going to put it up there. And you can do that. We're not here to tell you that you're a horrible person. We're not here to tell you that your idea sucks. In fact, we never said that, and we'll never say that. But we will say this idea is too similar to this, or this idea, requires a level of experience in telling the story that we don't see you having. We will be brutally honest, but we're never going to say, you know what, you suck, your concept sucks. That's an ignorant sort of statement, and we try to be very professional in what we do. So no, I mean, I think the bottom line here is that yes, there's going to always be probably one winner. Now, will there be multiple runners-up? Possibly, but there'll always be one winner, because I think it's relatively obvious in these test flights that there'll be one person who gets it. They just get it figured out from top to bottom. Right sort of illustrations, right sort of choices they make in their art, right unique idea for a story, the right type of art style. Everything about it is different, original, and it just gives them that chance to stand out completely from everybody else. And I think we're going to see that this month as well. So we'll see. But that's a great question. Again, everybody should be empowered to participate. That's the main thing. If you make it into the Pilot Manga group, which is not easy, by the way, if you make it into the Pilot Manga group, you get in there, there you go. at that point you've already won. So winning doesn't really matter. So let's see here. We got some more questions here on Facebook. Again, if you've got questions, please drop them into the Facebook fan page or the Facebook Pilot Manga submissions group in the chat window if you've got your Google Mail open and you're accessing this chat, this Q&A, or in the Hangouts Q&A function, because we will be coming to a close here in the next 10 minutes. So get your questions in now. Anything from Saturday Wars to Test Flight to other businesses that we're doing with Saturday AM. So some questions that were on the Facebook Pilot Manga group. Let's see. Miss Tiana Conyers, who I've been a fan of her stuff for a little while now. She says, earlier in the Pilot Manga group, you asked a question and talked about expanding social media. Okay, so she's asking a question about the social media thing. So basically, all I was saying is that and people who are listening to this who do not know who we are, we have a group designed to not only help people who want to become manga and webcomic creators, but likewise to really bring some really new and exciting content to Saturday AM. We are not, ink blazers or Tapastic. We're not a place where you just, come up to the site, upload your content, and go about your business. We're not that place. We choose the content to represent our brand. It's that simple. For the Saturday AM logo to sit on your comic, we have to have faith and a belief and our own experience to tell us that your concept is one that we feel like works with our brand. It's that simple. It doesn't mean that our brand is better than you. It doesn't mean that you are worse than our brand. It just means that at the end of the day, we have to feel that it's a fit for you to have that logo sitting on your work. And so from that perspective, we can't support people sending in stuff. A, we don't have the manpower, and B, that's not the way we want to operate. On the other hand, we know there are plenty of talented people out there. So we created the Pilot Manga group precisely to give manga webcomic creators a chance to get their work professionally judged by people who are actually actively creating webcomics, to also be in a group of peers who can talk about things like what's the best Photoshop tool set to use. Is Manga Studio any good? Are there any discounts for Manga Studio? I want to use Copic markers. Can anyone talk to me about where to get the best deal on Copic markers or how well they work? How do you organize your schedule? How do you organize your plots? All those things. And I routinely post things exclusively in the Test Flight, the Pilot Manga group, that feature my own experiences about writing, coming up with concepts, how to name your stories, when your ego gets in the way of your work, all that stuff. So it's really a worthwhile group to join if you are a manga webcomic creator in training or want to be one. And so what I was advising Tiana of and everyone in the group is that because we want to get the word out about how cool our Pilot Manga group is, you guys are posting a lot of content in the Pilot Manga all the time that's only seen by other Pilot Manga participants. And we want to use our social media reach, which is growing pretty rapidly across YouTube, Facebook, DeviantArt, and Twitter, to get the word out about the Pilot Manga group. So we will be choosing art that we think looks really good, and we'll be making sure to credit you with the art, but then we'll be adding some marketing material to it to then put it out there and say, hey, you should join Pilot Manga so you can be like, Chitulu Hernandez. I mean, it's just a name that came to me because it's such a crazy name. No offense to Tulu. So that's the idea there. So that's the idea, Tiana. It's not to, it doesn't mean you're part of Saturday AM. It doesn't mean that that you can't post that work somewhere else. One thing to be said though is that you all cannot post your work with our logo. So let's be clear about that. But we, we'll look at your art if we think it works. And again, you can't post something and say, hey, use my artwork. Don't do that. Just do like you guys are doing now. If we look at it, we think it's really cool, then we'll use it as part of our overall marketing strategy to get more people into and aware of our Pilot Manga group. So that was Tiana's question. Let's see here. Got a few more minutes. Colby D asked a question here. He says, Eli's question made me think regarding the quality of something that loses. Does an entry that loses become somewhat, and he's talking about here the Test Flight, which is our Pilot Manga competition we have every month only for Pilot Manga members. So Colby is asking about Eli's question, which was about whether or not there would ever be more than one winner in a test flight. So does an entry that loses become somewhat close to winning? It may be believed to have won on a different month. Will they be notified of this, and would you recommend re-entering? So the bottom line is that yes, there is a property called Comet Man that was that we really struggled over whether or not that should be number 2, and we struggled over it for various reasons. One, we just thought the concept was amazing. We thought there was a really cool aspect to the story that was definitely different. And the runner-up, we felt had some challenges to the stuff that they were doing. Now, we think the runner-up is a deserved runner-up, which was Justin in his book called Gray Zone. Deserved runner-up, and when Justin's work appears, he's been working with us to refine his concept and make it stronger. And when it appears, it's going to kick ass. It's going to be very, very good. It's going to be, in fact, I think it's going to be really big. And that's part of the benefit of winning. But that's kind of the concept there. But Comet Man, Frederick had talked about that he was really encouraged by the things that we said, and so he wanted to think about, taking it somewhere else. And so Frederick, is going to be announcing something soon in terms of Comet Man, and we're really excited about what he's doing, and so I would just say that the bottom line is that if you think your concept's ready to go, you're not on a contract with us. We're not your lord and master. You can take the concept and go elsewhere. But again, if you work with us, if we think it's something that's worth doing, then we will work with you. So I would say at this point to not be concerned about whether or not something has quality and where it ranks and things like that. Shonen Jump is the group that does that thing where they kind of rank the manga, and if your manga's not that good, you get kicked out. We don't do that, so we're not worried about that. That's not a concern of ours. Our concern is simply original, good concepts that are being executed at the highest level. As I said to Justin and Felipe, and I'll say it to everyone listening to this, if you're thinking of entering our pilot manga submission group, if you're thinking of entering a test flight, just know that winning is the easy part. Existing within Saturday M is extremely difficult because we hold our creators to a high standard. We do not play the game, and we can't. And we've had this issue before. We are not your personal fan club. We are not going to make you feel like $1,000. We're not going to tell you how awesome you are every other day. We're not going to be on the phone call with you every 5 seconds. That's not who we are. What we are is a group that, just like Marvel would be if you were a new artist at Marvel, or DC would be if you're a new artist at DC, we're going to hold you accountable for producing good work. And you either are ready for that type of commitment or you're not. But that's how it's going to be. Those of you who can manage that, who can deal with that, who can not have to talk to us every day, but can still produce the sort of content you need to produce, then you'll end up like a White Manga. You'll end up like a Wally Wynn. You'll end up like a Raymond Brown and Mikhail Dingler, people like that. People who are committed and are already internally focused on what they have to do, and the guidance that we provide them helps them actually just get there in a unique way. But if you're not really associated with that, then it's going to be a difficulty. It's going to be really tough. So, so again, like I said, worrying about how good your stuff is and other people, that usually is a recipe for disaster. And we've seen it now a few times, and we know if that enters your mind, that's a poison. You got to get it out. Do not worry about how good your stuff is compared to someone else's, and don't worry about whether or not you win the test flight. Do the best job you can, and that's what will come through regarding you, your opportunities, your career path, all those things. That's what will come through in terms of helping you get to the next level. Is that? So that is that question there from Colby. Let's see here. We also have another question. Let's see. Antonio asked, is Saturday Wars going to be a complete story, start to finish, all in one issue? So this is our Kickstarter, Saturday Wars, and yes, it's going to be a complete issue. It's going to be completely, complete issue, all in one thing. Antonio also asked a question about the Spider-Woman from Marvel variant cover. He says, what do you think about over-sexualized women in comics? I think it's, I think it's kind of cheesy to a degree. I think it's kind of cheesy to a degree. I think that when you look at superheroes, I'm a guy, and I'm relatively in shape. I don't have a pot belly or anything like that, but I also don't have a six-pack. I have a one-pack. It's a very muscular one little dent. But what I would say is that there is no. I mean, men are sexualized in comics just as much as women are. So I'm a bit reluctant to get on the bandwagon that women are portrayed in comics in a unique way versus men. Now, in manga, I do very much get frustrated and embarrassed by manga because I think that manga tends to produce women. They represent women in such a ridiculous way in terms of their personalities. It's unrealistic. In some ways, it's perverted, and it's tragic. So I'm not at all comfortable with manga's representation of it. But Marvel Comics and DC Comics, I think they're over-sexualized. Not any more than I think the male characters are over-sexualized. So, I'm not, so the Milo Manera cover that Spider-Woman, that had on Spider-Woman's cover, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Spider-Man's got his ass sticking up in most covers by Todd McFarlane, and I don't remember anybody talking about that. So, no, I thought it was kind of silly, frankly. Let's see here. Leonardo Massip asks, when you use the term runner-up or second winner, what do you mean? And Leonardo, I mean exactly what I said. I mean, you're not the winner. You came in second, so you would come in second place to Saturday AM. So if you're asking what do you get for that, we'll be talking about that tomorrow night. It's Monday night when we do the live Q&A for the winners of the August test flight. So again, tune in to that. It'll be a live hangout just like this, except it'll be myself, Raymond Brown, the creator of Bully Eater, and David Yoon, the creator of Spoon. It'll be us three jarheads talking about what represents this new month's winner. And Leonardo also asked, will there be a meeting in person with all the creators in the future, like some kind of Comic-Con? And the short answer is yes. I mean, we appeared at Charlotte's HeroCon in July, and we appeared, or maybe that was June, and we also were in May. We were in Raleigh's Animazement convention, and we absolutely have plans to appear at more, and we certainly have plans to get some of our heavy hitters like Mikhail and White, and the problem with Wally and Andrea is that they're both overseas, and we don't have that type of money. But to the person who asked that question about crowdfunding earlier, we may crowdfund. And I'm not joking either. We may crowdfund like hey, get us all to a convention, and we'll do something really cool. So we may do that in the future, because I do think we have enough fans at this point, and some of our creators are super popular to where, getting the sort of funding where we could all appear together would be pretty big. So that's certainly something we'll look at. So I think that's about it. I'll just double check, make sure there's no final questions here in the chat window, and there's not. And there's no final questions in the Q&A app within Google Hangouts, and there does not appear to be. And there are no final questions in Facebook, so there do not appear to be. So to that end, I think we have answered all the questions. So again, just to recap, Saturday Wars, our original graphic novel, 200 pages, featuring a crossover story of all of the characters of Saturday AM and Afternoon WebX, and that has artwork from all the active creators of Saturday AM and Afternoon WebX, as well as some other creators, some surprises that we have. That will begin its crowdfunding Kickstarter phase next week. We're thinking by Wednesday at the latest. We're literally in the process of finalizing the new video, and then we are good to go. The next phase of the Saturday Q&A, which is the next episode of this particular YouTube show you're watching, will be next Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or, I'm sorry, at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sorry, it's be a different time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that will include Philippa Borman, winner of our previous test flight in July, and Justin Anision, who is the runner-up of our previous test flight. They will both be on this Google Hangout live chat. Likewise, if you are a fan of our test flight, then I highly recommend you check it out, the test flight project. We'll have a live Q&A Monday night, September 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will run for about 2 hours. We will run through the top submissions that came in. Whether or not we can get all of them, I don't know. We'll certainly select the top few, and then from there we'll choose amongst the top 4 the actual winner. And so it's a fantastic experience, both for creators, because we run through all of the series and we give a lot of details about what we like, what we didn't like, what you have to work on. So if you are a budding manga artist, webcomic creator, I highly recommend you join and check that out. Last but not least, our 16th issue comes out September 20th. It will feature the debut of Philippa Borman, our test flight winners, and Amale. And likewise, we will have the debut of our next exclusive manga, Massively Multiplayer World of Ghosts. That's going to be a big one, folks, so you should definitely check that out. Subscribe today. You can get that first issue. You'll get the latest issue, which is issue 15, which is over 100 pages. But then likewise, you can get that next issue right on time. You'll get it before it's available for purchase. So I highly recommend you check it out. Subscribe today. You can go to www.saturday-am.com/subscribe/. Also, if you're wanting to support our creators, do the Kickstarter. Do let people know about our Kickstarter. You can always buy a T-shirt, buy a print. You can do so on our website, or you can follow the links via some of our social media, and support our guys. And if you do so, you're definitely helping to support people like White Manga, Andrea Voros, Wally Wynn, and so on. Definitely do that. Afternoon WebX will be continuing. We have some big announcements for WebX down the road. We will be announcing plans for our Volume 1 series, collections of Apple Black and Methalcolux Nova. We'll be announcing that next couple of weeks. We'll also be announcing further details about Saturday Plus, including when you can expect it to debut and what series will be a part of it. And then we've also got a big announcement that we'll be talking about later on that will involve Christmas, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later. So thanks again for joining us, guys. You guys have been really awesome. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. It is a real pleasure and honor to have you guys as fans. We always will appreciate you tweeting about us, posting about us. If you want to review our stuff for your own website or for another person's website, please do so, because anything that we can do to get our name out there is much appreciated. We're a small company, so every little bit helps us continue to try these innovative things we're doing to shake up the manga and webcomic industry all around. Thanks again. My name is Frederick Jones, the founder and publisher of Saturday AM. I will see you guys next Saturday.